Happy Friday, y'all. Here's our beautiful campus. It's sunny today, but cold. And I am going to give you a short review, go over several problems to get you ready for a test that we're going to take today. But don't worry. Okay, I'm going to go over every type of problem. You can follow along with me, write down the problems in practice, pause when you need to, and then take the Google form test right after. You should do just fine. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so just reviewing what we've done in this chapter. If we're going to make 7/10 be hundredths, how many hundredths would it be? I want you to think for a second. It would be 70. 7/10 is 70 hundredths. Okay, hope you got that one. How about if we have 3/10 and I asked you what that was as a decimal? Okay, think for a second. 3/10 is like having a 3 in the tenths place, so it's 0.3. Okay, how about if I gave you a decimal and asked you to give me the fraction? If I have 0.30, remember this is tenths, hundredths. You would say 30 hundredths, so it would be equal to this. Now, are these two equal to each other? Yes, they are, because remember, if you add a 0 to top and bottom, 3/10 is 30 hundredths, so these are the same. Okay, let's review some number lines. It's been a long time since we've done these. Okay, I want you to look at this number line. You might pause the video and try to figure out what points A, B, and C would be. Okay, so pause it. Point A, if we check this number line, this should actually be 1. This would be in tenths, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. So A is 1 4/10. Okay, B, if this is 2, and these are lines are in tenths, this would be 2 1/10, so 2.1. See, this would be 2.5, so this would be 2.6, 2.7, 2.8. Okay, you'll have some on your test like this, and you're going to have to type in the decimal numbers for your answers on these. Then you're going to have another number line. Now notice this one, this is 4.45. So this will be 4.46, 4.47, 4.48, 4.49, 4.5. Okay, 4.51, 4.52, and so on. Here's 4.55, 4.56, 4.57, 4.58. Write that one down. Here's 4.6, 4.61, 4.62. Okay, so there's some review on number lines. Now we're going to review comparing, putting less than, greater than, or equal to. Okay, so let's look here. If we're going to compare these two, remember, they both have a 0 in the ones, so look here. This has a 0 in the tenths. This has a 4 in the tenths. This one's bigger. So 4 hundredths is less than 44 hundredths. Okay, let's look at B. 3/10, there's a 3 in the tenths place. 30 hundredths, there's a 3 in the tenths place. These are equal. Okay, I want you to think about these two before you watch my answers. You might pause. 12/10. Remember, this would have, if we're going to make this a decimal, has to end in the tenths place. So to make this have tenths, I'd have to put a decimal point right here. This number would be this. This is 12/10. So these are equal. If I look at this one, 1 6 hundredths, 1 6/10. Well, 1 6/10 would look like this. Okay, a 6 in the 10th place. This has a 0 in the 10th place. Okay, so this one is smaller than this one. Less than. Okay, so that's some review on comparing. Now let's look at a couple other comparisons. Okay, these might be a little harder, but let's think for a second. If I have 2/10 plus 1/100th. Well, to add these together, let's make this be hundredths real quick. So then I can see, oh, 20 hundredths plus 1/100th is 21 hundredths. Okay, well, let's look here. 1/10 plus 14 hundredths. We'll make this one be hundredths and add them together. So that would give me 24 hundredths. Well, 21 hundredths is less than 24 hundredths. Okay, I want you to take a look at this one and try it on a piece of paper before you watch. 9 hundredths plus 8 tenths. Okay, again, make this be hundredths, add them together, 89 hundredths. Now we'll do the same thing here. 8 tenths plus 18 hundredths. I'm going to make this be hundredths and add them together. I would get 98 hundredths. Well, it looks like this one is less than this one. Okay, on to more review. If I give you 2 decimals and just ask you to add them together, remember I told you the easiest way is to line them up vertically and line up those decimal points. And then you just add. So that would be our answer. Okay, again, we have another one. I'm just going to line them up vertically. And add again. Hopefully this part isn't too bad. There we go. And this last one, 6 dimes, 2 pennies. So how much would that be? 62 cents. And 86 pennies is 86 cents. So we can just add those up. We would get 148 cents, which is $1.48. Okay, just a little bit more review and we'll be done. Let's look at a couple word problems. If, let's just say, Addison and Victoria ran in a relay race, and Addison had a time of 8.7 seconds. Victoria had a time of 10.32 seconds. Together, how long did it take them to complete the race? Record your answer as a decimal. Now on your test, Miss Danita wrote this test and she has asked you to record your answer in a sentence. So make sure when you get to this, type in a sentence with your answer. Okay, but notice it says together, so you're just going to add their times. So 8.7 and 10.32. We add the times. So you'll need scrap paper when you take your test. Okay, so then you would type in a sentence because we're going to check it, your work on these and check it for your sentences. So you'd put together, they took 19.02 seconds to run the race. Okay, let's look at this one. The next word problem on your test, it gives times for runners. So notice we're given several times here. And on your test, you are just asked to put them in order from least to greatest. So it doesn't look like this, but you're given times and say put them in order from least to greatest. So we have to look for the smallest number. Notice they all have a 5 in the ones place. So I'm going to move to the 10th place. This one has a 1. This one has a 0, an 8, an 8, and a 6. Okay, so the smallest one is this one. So I'm going to write it first. Okay, so you're going to have to type these in order and put commas between them. Okay, this one would be next. Okay, now let's see. This one has a 6 in the tenths, so this was the next biggest. Now notice this is a practice test. These are the same number. On your real test, it will not be like that. Okay, so sorry about that. I didn't notice when I printed this off. But let's pretend like this one has a 1 in it. Okay, so if they both have an 8 in the tenths, you move to the hundredths and say, this is the next biggest. And then this is the very biggest. Okay, so putting decimal numbers in order. The very last word problem on your test looks a little bit like this. Okay, let's instead of Leslie, let's pretend that's like ledger or hope. I miss you guys a lot. Okay, so anyway, threw a baseball 53.02 meters. Then he or she threw 4.7 meters farther on the next throw. So write a statement to compare the two distances thrown. Okay, well, if the first, I'm going to write down the first throw was 53.02. Okay, and I'm going to compare it with the second throw. Well, the second throw is not 4.7 meters, it's 4.7 meters further. So I'm going to take that first throw and I'm going to add 4.7 meters to it. So the second throw is 57.72 meters. So the first throw was less than the second throw. And you're going to have to type something like this in for your test as your answer. Okay, so if you are confused on anything, you can go back and re-watch it. But when you're done watching this, you can close it out and move on and take that test. Good luck. Have a good weekend.